A group of young students are talking about what they're going to do over the summer. Katie suggests they go to a nearby lake in New Hampshire. They're going to spend the weekend there, and it'll be a surprise for her boyfriend Eric. The students got into Marcus' car and drove 17 miles to Crystal Lake. On the way they stopped at the nearest gas station to buy a beer and fill up the car. Eric was nervous. He didn't like the idea of his friends blindfolding him. Katie said everything would be fine and Eric didn't need to worry about it. The students were a little shocked by the gas station store. They wanted to buy beer, fill up the car, and get to the lake as soon as possible. The owner of the store asked what the hell you were doing in the middle of nowhere, and that the students had no place in this area and should leave immediately back where they came from. The friends already wanted to get out of the gas station because the locals were scaring them with their strange appearance. The sheriff thought it would be a good idea to keep an eye on the students, since it was a dangerous place to be in. In 15 minutes the friends were already at the Crystal Lake. As they had planned, they arrived there before sunset. And now Eric would find out what surprise awaited him. Katie was sure Eric would be thrilled. But Eric, as if sensing something wrong, was getting more and more nervous. The smell in the air was so familiar to him. But his friends did not know that they had brought him to the very lake where 15 years ago a terrible tragedy happened to him and his parents. He miraculously survived the massacre. Meanwhile, hunters from a nearby village stopped at a gas station. They told the sheriff that they were going hunting today. They wanted to kill the cannibal bear they had been hunting for years. This bear had killed and eaten 3 hunters last year. Meanwhile, Samantha and Peter are alone on the pier away from the rest of the guys. The loving couple decided it was the perfect time to make love. But they didn't realize it would be their last sex, because the night woke up the guardian of the lake. Jason is back. Tonight, he came for the innocent souls again. Tonight, the lake will be quiet again. Eric told his friends a story about how he had been here before as a child with his parents. It ended in a terrible tragedy. 15 years ago, a maniac in a hockey mask with a machete killed all the vacationers on this lake, including Eric's parents. It is said that with the help of the police they managed to overpower him, tie chains with stones to him and throw him to the bottom of the lake, and he drowned. But the horrors of that night and the death of his parents still torment Eric. The sheriff and his deputy arrived at the lake to see if the students were okay. They thought the students were staying in an old fisherman's house, so the first thing they did was to check the place out. When they heard a suspicious noise, they drew their pistols and carefully looked around the house. The lake guard was already there. A fight broke out with the police officers. The sheriff's deputy even managed to hit Jason several times, but even the sheriff, who had arrived, could not fight back against the masked killer. Jason easily defeated the law with ease. Jason crushed the deputy's head with his huge foot. He gouged out the sheriff's eyes and squeezed his head so hard his brains came out through his mouth. This night will take more than one life, and Jason is here to help. The masked executioner will bring order to the lake, and the law is no match for him. Jason is the law tonight. The hunters were exploring the area near the lake in search of a bear and had no idea that it was not the bear they would encounter. When they saw a man in a hockey mask with a machete in his hand, they were frightened, and one of the hunters decided to shoot first and deal with it later. He was surprised when he fired the soporific darts, because it didn't hurt Jason, and he realized that he was facing the maniac from the Crystal Lake. The hunter was a brave man, and was not afraid to fight Jason, believing himself to be his equal. At first he even seemed stronger, faster, and more agile than the machete-wielding maniac. As he playfully plunged a huge knife into Jason's stomach, he thought he was close to victory. After exchanging blows, he grabbed Jason and began to choke him. But it didn't do any damage to Jason. Taking the machete in his other hand, he stabbed the hunter through and through. The second huntress ran as fast as she could out of the forest. She stopped to catch her breath. But to get away from Jason, you couldn't run, you had to hide. Though that skill wouldn't save her on this night. It's a brutal murder video of Ashley, who decided to take a walk and have a smoke. She ran farther away, thinking she was hiding, but Jason caught up with her. In an attempt to survive, Ashley ran for all her strength, but realized that she was lost and could not remember the way to the cabin. Her confusion was her fatal mistake. Smoking kills, Jason kills even more. Another lost soul, sent to heaven by Jason's will, and he will stop at nothing until he cleans his lake, and until there is silence. Meanwhile, Eric said he didn't want to stay at the lake anymore and wanted to leave. Kitty stops him. She says it's okay. They run into one of the hunters who tells them to be quiet because there is a man-eating bear in the neighborhood. But it's not the bear you need to fear in these woods, it's Jason Voorhees. Jason grabs Eric and breaks his spine. Eric's mouth is bleeding, his insides a mess from Jason's embrace. Horrified by Eric's death, she screams at Jason. "Come on, kill me, you fucking psychopath. What more do you want?" Jason grants her last wish.
Hey, Tyler, how's our boy doing? Did he clear the whole lake?
Yeah, Barney, the lake's calm again.